Hi guys, welcome to Simproved, Fresh speaking here, and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. Today we are going to build a fashion house, especially of course now that the new MOSCHINO stuff pack came out, which is a fashion brand. I thought you need a house where your artists, your designers, your photographers, your woodworking, freelance Sims, whatever kind of job they have can go to and use it as a community lot. So without further ado, let's get started. So as you can see here, I started to build on a penthouse, and you get penthouses with the city living expansion pack, and it comes with this amazing cool world metropolis kind of thing called San Myshuno, which is a mixture of basically Tokyo, I think, and San Francisco, and this is also what it feels like. And there you have different districts in the big city, and this is the fashion district. And since it is called like that, I just assumed and thought this just makes total sense to build a fashion house in there. Okay, so this is basically how I chose this thing, and I thought a penthouse is more of a build thing because an apartment just doesn't make sense. So for those who assumed that I'm going to build the real MOSCHINO fashion house, because there is of course one, you know, the headquarters. I think it's of course in Italy because it's an Italian fashion brand, but I haven't looked into that, and also we don't have any world that kind of looks like Italy. So yeah, we do the modern urban version of this. And I also thought it's gonna be a cool idea to have kind of a community building that is basically a lot of community types. So this will be, at the end of the build, this will be an art center. You can use it as a museum, you can use it as a nightclub, and you can use it as a bar. As always, you can set it to residential and or generic, which are both lot types that don't have necessarily any kind of requirements. But basically for art center, nightclub, and bar and museum, all requirements are met, and you can change it to whatever you like. I especially changed this to art center because I want my Sims to, you know, draw something or create some photography, since especially with the new MOSCHINO stuff pack you get a fashion photography career now in the Sims. I thought this makes sense, and I also wanted to look a little bit more like a publishing house, maybe for a fashion magazine. So we won't have, since we don't have a designer career, we will focus more on more like office kind of environment, but a little bit more fun, very playful, with lots of things that kind of reminds you maybe of MOSCHINO, especially since I try to use lots of the new MOSCHINO stuff to make it, you know, to put it to use and see what, you know, what is in that stuff pack, how can I use that. And yeah, this is basically a video for you if you want to see what kind of items kind of look good together maybe, or which ones are cool. It's a little bit hard because, yeah, for those who have seen my review, I'm not a big fan of it, but now I have basically tried out the photography, the fashion photography career myself. I had some time to play with this house, so this is play tested as well. And well, since I'm not that much into gameplay at all, I think the fashion photography career is nice, since now you can, you know, also make the Sims pose, and you have multiple backgrounds to choose, and it's kind of like an overhaul of the whole photography career, which wasn't like my favorite career at all. I think I didn't even like use photography that much in a game ever before. And yeah, it's nice, but I think, yeah, just the fashion career in general, like a designing career would have been so much cooler with that. Anyways, let's talk about the build itself. So you could already see there's a huge glass front which I made out of roofs. And if you want to see or know how I did this, because it's a little trick, there is a tutorial for this by Kate Emerald, of course, a very good friend of mine, and I will post the link to her tutorial in the video description down below. So if you want to do that as well, because yeah, you want to have like a huge glass front like I did here, this is the tutorial for you, and you can rebuild this as well. At the end of the video, I will also give you a bird's eye view of all the levels. So for those who want to recreate this build, they get like screenshots, you know, of each and every level, so they can rebuild this themselves in their game. So good luck with that. But generally, it's a very symmetric modern build. We will go with black and white here. And then I also wanted to have kind of like an outer garden. Since we have a penthouse, I thought, yeah, this is something we need here. And outer garden meant I use, of course, the palm trees from the Island Living expansion pack, because these palm trees are just my favorite trees at the moment, because they just look amazing. And I wanted to have them inside, outside, just everywhere. But basically, I just could put them into the inside, like in the big, I don't know, like main hall, which I used as a structure to get also lots of light into the house. Because if you build these huge houses in the middle, especially on the lower levels, they are so dark. And I needed to have lots and lots of light, because it just makes sense to me for especially an artist to have natural light, or a photographer to have natural light. So since this is like a fashion house or fashion magazine publishing house, I think you would call it, this is something that I especially wanted, and this was also the main idea, and this is also why I started with that point, you know. And then I kept on adding everything around it, basically. So this is also not a real existing house again. This is absolutely made up. I made this thing up. I'm sorry if you want to see that in real life. Maybe there's a house that kind of looks like this in real life, then feel free to post me a link of a photo or something, because that would really interest me and would be a very huge coincidence. But yeah, I really liked how it turned out. It's a very interesting kind of architecture for me, in my opinion, especially with these huge glass fronts. I really love them, especially in real life. I'm always in awe if you have like a huge glass front that goes over several levels, and then you have like a great hall, especially like in, I don't know, like airports have that, for example, a lot, like terminals of airports, and I always love that. I'm like, oh, huge glass fronts, yes. So in this great hall, let's just call it the great hall with palm trees in, I made a fashion statement kind of wall piece, because I thought that looks really cool, and it's supposed to say the fashion brand or the magazine name of this fashion house. So first I wanted to go with pink, because the MOSCHINO website and clothing sometimes has pink as also as a statement color, I would say. And we also have pink as a statement color on some of the objects from the pack. So I just thought naturally I'm going to use pink here a lot. But later on we will use as a background, not pink, we will use the statement wallpaper that also came with the MOSCHINO stuff pack. But I already complained that it doesn't look good if you paint them on multiple levels. So we will do a little trick later off camera. Don't worry, I will show, of course, everything in a video tour at the end, as always. But we will basically mix and match these kinds of wallpapers in little stripes, so it looks like a really funky, colorful background. And that's also the only way how I can justify that wallpaper in a build. But yeah, we will use these statement wallpapers as statement wallpaper, you know, walls basically in the build as well, to spice up the black and white interior a lot. And then we will go in interior as well with some hot pink sometimes, you know, since I always assumed it's kind of more of a fashion forward urban color, I think. Especially if you want to have like this happy kind of cartoony vibe in The Sims, you always need like one color at least as a statement color. And we will go with pink here, because I just thought, yeah, it's very Miss MOSCHINO maybe. And I also know that lots of you guys play with like a Barbie sim, so this is actually a perfect workplace for your Barbie sim. And as always, you can write me in the comments what kind of gameplay you want to do here. So yeah, feel free to inspire me maybe for multiple other builds. Also, I know that lots of you have asked for builds that are for the freelance careers in The Sims. So they always liked that The Sims can, you know, work from home, but sometimes wanna see them in a workplace, doing it in a workplace. And this is basically possible now with this build. So basically, if you have like a painter who only paints their paintings at home and then sells them, you can basically move them in here, or not move them in, but maybe, you know, visit this lot as a bar, nightclub, whatever you want, and then they can work there on multiple easels that I will place there, of course, and sell the pictures there as well. So it's basically like a workplace as well. And you can kind of pretend that they are working for a fashion house or a designing studio or something like this. So yeah, it works on multiple levels. And here we are in the interior already. And like I said, we go with white, black and pink a lot, and this is the entrance. So if you have a penthouse, you usually always need an elevator, and this is where the elevator goes to. So this is where the Sims spawn and get into the house. And therefore we have a little waiting room kind of area with white couches, and of course we have a counter with the logo again that we used on the statement wall in the Great Hall. There's a little desk, you know, counter where maybe like a secretary kind of lives or works at, and yeah, tells you to wait until somebody comes down to pick you up or something like that. And we kind of mix and match here a lot with the colors, because yeah, Moschino's kind of very color forward, I guess you would say. You know, it's very direct in their bold color choices, and I wanted to do this here as well. Like I said, the whole Sims game feels very happy, kind of colorful, cartoony, and so we have lots and lots of objects that kind of fit the vibe, and I thought we can implement this here as well. And it kind of will fit into the whole game atmosphere as well. So yeah, we will change up the colors from time to time, but basically it's black, white, and pops of color, I guess. Yeah. And here we are in an office, for example. This is the main office for only one Sim, and there will also be multiple other offices with like more than one desk and more than one workplace. So this is maybe from the chief editor, the office, for example, and I could use some of the movie pictures that came with an update from movies to use as maybe fashion covers of the magazine that they have already published or something. Then of course we will put in lots and lots of photography studios. So since we have the fashion photography career now, I thought it makes just way more sense to have multiple studios. So this is the yellow one, and we go with yellow, black and white. And I just thought it makes more sense to kind of have like a yellow studio, red studio, etc., and kind of make them look a little bit more distinct. And I also use that, of course, to mix and match a little bit of colors and see what kind of color swatches fit very well together with the Moschino pack and vice versa. Here we are in the Great Hall, where we have a bar. I wanted to have the Great Hall, you know, kind of usable as a workplace kind of community area where everybody from all the offices and their workplaces can meet up and have a drink and mingle. And also later on, I figured it would be cool to host some parties there, some fashion parties. And I thought it would look really, really cool. Around the palm trees, you can already see I used the Moschino couches all around, and these look amazing and they are really, really easy to put together. So if you are into these more modular kind of couches, I really like them, honestly, but I only like 2 swatches, which is kind of a bummer. More swatches would have been cooler. And since I'm more of a black and white girl and then have like some color pieces in between, yeah, I don't dig like huge pink stuff or something. And then we will put some lights of the Moschino stuff pack into the palm trees to light up the whole area here, because it looked kind of dim and I wanted it to look a little bit more interesting. So they put, of course, some of the lights into the palm trees. I just thought it looks really, really cool. And directly next to the big glass front, which is made out of roofs, I thought it would be cool to have a little dancing area. So this is what makes it into a nightclub. So there's a bar on one side and there's a huge dance area next to the big window basically, and I thought it would be so cool because it's a penthouse that you can dance right next to the big window and look over the fashion district. Oh my god, this would be so epic, right? Like in real life. So I thought, okay, we have to do this, putting in a huge DJ booth that looks also very amazing, my favorite DJ booth from the, I think, Get Together pack. So this is a cool hangout area. The Great Hall is one of my favorite things of the whole build. And here we go into the smaller little working areas. This is basically the workshop kind of area where they do the props for the photography, maybe also for videos, or they create you know, like furniture and art there as well for their publications in the magazines, or for, you know, designers or something like that. So this is why there's a huge freezer bunny in one corner, and especially on the Moschino t-shirt there is a huge freezer bunny on there as well. So I thought maybe the freezer bunny is like the new Moschino's, you know, mascot. So we go with these kinds of more quirky things, some canvases, and of course some laptops and stuff like that. Here we go with another photography studio. I think in the end we'll have 3 photography studios. I did one off camera to already see if this is all working fine, which is a yellow one, and I think there's a yellow and blue one, and this is the red and white one. So yeah, basically these are the color themes that I went with, and I used another photography thing here, which is from Base Game or Get to Work, but I'm not sure. But they work fine. I tested this all, and yeah, these should all work in game, of course. This is the styling room. So as always, maybe you have seen that in a couple of videos or like movies especially, there are some styling kind of closets that some of these fashion brands have, or like fashion magazines especially, to photograph their models in and stuff like this. And this is basically the smaller version of this. So we have 2 styling kind of areas, and some mannequins, and of course lots and lots of the new wardrobes from the Moschino pack. So basically they can dress up their models and celebrities and stuff like this there, and try out the new fashion that they get there, whatever. Something like this. And then I figured, oh my god, I still need a kitchen, because you need to feed your Sims somehow. At least, especially on a workplace, they need their coffee and, you know, some drinks and stuff like that. So I, against my better judgment, I really wanted not to do a kitchen, because I thought it just doesn't make sense to have a kitchen. But in real life, you would have a kitchen at the workplace, let's be honest. So here it goes. We have a kitchen, some drink dispensers, which are of course fridges, but look like drink dispensers, oven and a sink and stuff like that. So that works all fine. And then I thought, okay, maybe they have a house in designer who just designs stuff. If this is a real fashion house, this would be the designer room. And I thought designers are basically very creative people, so it would be probably very cluttered and very, you know, all over the place, with lots and lots of photos and references on the wall for the new collection to inspire them. So I just thought, okay, we go with lots and lots of canvases and colors. I could put in some towels, for example, and like a little basket. I think it's from Parenthood, but not sure. There are some blankets in there. So these are supposed to be, of course, little, you know, probes, no, not probes, but little examples of maybe different cotton and silk or something that I could put on the mannequins that I will also put in there. Later on, I will also off camera dress the mannequins sometimes. So some of them are dressed, some of them intentionally aren't dressed because they aren't ready yet, so to speak. And then I also used some fashion art on the walls, which are from Get Famous, and some are from other packs that I totally forgot which packs these are. But these are basically uniforms from sports, signed from sport athletes or something. And then we have a little meeting room with, of course, a huge TV. And maybe they have their meetings there where they plan their next issue or their next collection, or maybe have like a business meeting just in general. Just thought it makes way more sense to have that in a huge office, of course. So here we go, guys. It's basically just 2 big eating tables with lots of pink chairs all around. And you could already see that I used this horse kind of chess piece lamp and the pawn lamp which are from Get Together as well. I just thought these come in pink as well, and since pink is our reference, especially in the MOSCHINO pack, there is one neon sign that only comes in pink. I will use this here a lot, and this kind of matches a lot, this pink neon sign. And yeah, basically here we go with the bathroom. There are 2 bathrooms. Yes, I know some will already cry in the comments. Oh, there are like big windows and there's no privacy. The Sims don't care about privacy. Please don't write that in the comments. This is basically why I don't show bathrooms usually. But yeah, there are 2 bathrooms. One has even a bathtub and the other one even has a shower, because I just thought it makes more sense to keep your Sims as long as possible on the community lot and fill their needs. So they can eat there, they can sleep on lots of the couches. If you want to, you can of course put a bed somewhere. There's plenty of space. And yeah, the sinks are outside with lots and lots of windows and kind of knickknacks that are towels and soaps and kind of, you know, nail polishes and all that kind of stuff that we already have in game. And I just thought maybe they can fresh up their outfits and their face there or something. And then we move on up. We are 1 level higher here, and this is another office. I basically experimented a lot with office environment because we don't have real offices, you know, in the game as a building. So basically these all would look really, really funny. But I could, since it's like a fashion house or a fashion publishing house for magazines or something like that, I could put lots of these new wardrobes in and have like really funky desks, for example, and like statement pieces all over the place that of course in the normal kind of, I don't know, lawyer office or something like this like would not look like that. But it was way more fun like this with the whole fashion reference. Also keep in mind that I'm not a fashionista at all. I know lots of fashion, like high-end fashion brands, and watch their haute couture, especially runway shows on YouTube. And this is also why I knew MOSCHINO before, because I think it's very interesting and kind of inspiring also for builds and architecture. And this is why I watch them. But I have absolutely no sense of styling, I think, in my opinion. So if something looks super odd, yeah, keep in mind, I just don't know that stuff. I have never seen a fashion house from the inside, only documentaries maybe sometimes, or some stuff like that. So yeah, we have multiple offices, and like always we use basically the same stuff, you know, pink, kind of bold glass tables and all that kind of stuff. So it's actually like a really, really cool working environment, and mixing up the neon signs and all that stuff. And then we have 2 little offices that are basically for the social media manager of this fashion house. So there is the video creating table from the Get Famous pack. So you have maybe some YouTubers who also work there and produce videos. So yeah, this is basically the whole build, guys. Here we are in the video tour of this build, so you can have a better look at it. I always know that, you know, the whole sped up building is really confusing sometimes and you can't see everything. So these video tours are absolutely perfect for this. And just look at this beautiful building, especially as a penthouse. It looks really cool. I love the view, so all the big windows make so much more sense. Some are the big windows from base game, some are the windows from the new MOSCHINO pack, especially the round ones who are really, really easy to spot. And some are roofs, basically glass roofs. And yeah, I basically try to have everything that you would want to have in a big penthouse kind of office build. So there's lots of light. It's very funky and fun to hang around. You know, it's a really nice work environment. Then plus you also have lots of greenery, in my opinion. It looks kind of more fresher, gives you more life to look at plants, real life plants. And yeah, it's basically a really interesting architecture, in my opinion. Don't know if this is possible in real life, but I just hope so. So this would be cool to see it in real life somehow. And I really, really like the bar and how it looked like, and especially this statement wall with the name of the publication house or fashion brand or whatever you want to make of it. I just thought it looks really, really cool. And that kind of manner how I did the pattern on or behind the logo, it kind of looks cool, the wallpaper from the MOSCHINO pack, but this is basically the only version where I really like them. And then I would just use them sporadically like I did here in the builds, just as one small wall, as a statement wall kind of, but having the rest white, black or gray or just any other solid color basically. And yeah, just look at the beautiful lighting in the big great hall. It just is so good. It looks so amazing, especially at noon, of course. And it's just a lovely big great hall to hang out and meet your co-workers. And of course it looks amazing at night when you use it as a nightclub. So yeah, it's kind of a very funky, happy kind of build, even though it's an office. So who can say that? Usually office buildings are, especially if you look into the offices, are kind of very not so cool. But this one is actually a really cool thought out architecture in my opinion. Looks really cool and would be a lot of fun to be around and work at there as well. Here we are in the interior basically, so we will see lots and lots of photography studios with lots of, you know, wardrobes and clothing hanging around, since this is a fashion house. And funky colors. Sometimes there's art on the wall, sometimes there's photos on the wall, sometimes there is movie posters on the wall, which are supposed to be magazine covers that they maybe already did. And yeah, basically this is how it looks like. And it was actually very fun to come out with an idea for a workplace that we don't actually have in The Sims, but it works as a workplace. So if you have these freelance careers where you can stay at home and just create something and, you know, paint or do photography or something like that, or write, even writers of course, this is basically a cool kind of pretend workplace to have. So I'm pretty sure that you will like it as well, and that your Sims will enjoy, you know, mixing up your gameplay a little. And especially those colors are very bold, some are very questionable, but I think as a happy kind of work fashion house, it would be fun in The Sims. That definitely is. So when I was testing this, even though some of the color choices I did here, in my opinion, are not particularly my taste, but it was very fun to play with it and to see at it, and like seeing the Sims interact with all the stuff that they can do, especially since we have so many activities in this house, in this fashion house. And yeah, maybe you write me in the comments what kind of room is your favorite room, or where your Sim is going to work. So this would be also interesting. Maybe that is inspiring or a cool idea to see what I can build next for you guys. And as always, you can write me in the comments down below what I have to build next, of course, something you want to see. Especially builds that we don't really have in the game yet, you know, that you but maybe could use as a community lot, are interesting for me because they're a little bit more maybe not difficult, but like different to do than a family house, you know. So basically this is the ideas that I want to go for. Here we are in the designer room, which is one of my favorites, and these are actually really very detailed. And yeah, basically this is the whole build, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, write me in the comments if you liked it, what you didn't like, of course, as well. Give it a thumbs up if you did. And also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and if you are into Sims 4 builds like these, for example. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your input on everything, and I hope that you like it, and I will see you soon. Bye bye!